Welcome. It's time for the dailies, and of course, we do it right here on Wake Up Nigeria the right way. And I have with me Titi. Thank you very much for joining for the papers. You are welcome.
You're welcome.
Alrighty, so let's get to it. Yes, we have a couple of them. We have The Nation, Daily Trust, Daily Sun, The Guardian, and maybe perhaps one or two more if we can squeeze in the time. But I'm going to be starting from The Nation newspaper. And we've got this headline here. Lalong resigns from FEC. That's a big headline, front and center for The Nation. Also, The Nation wins highest honors as NMMA. That's on page 4 if you want to celebrate with The Nation. NAFDAC moves against sale of measured milk cereals in open markets. I'm going to come back to talk about that one. And Rivers Assembly 27, our defection constitutional. That's what they say. That's the 27 members who defected. And at the bottom of the photo story for this morning on The Nation, Lagos inaugurates agro-produce hub. We were just talking about agro on for What's Up and About. And SON set to standardize CNJ buses. Dignitaries greets Buhari at 81. Now, let's go back and talk about that headline which I was referring to. NAFDAC moves against sale of measured milk and cereals in open markets. Now, it's very interesting because I was at the market. We always do our monthly shop runs. I think it's called Trade Fair. And I noticed that there were these big nylon bags with milk or cereals and stuff that were being sold, and people actually are beginning to purchase or patronize these more than they would the packaged stuff. And they claim that it's all the same thing. However, I've always just wondered how real that was, how true that is, how safe it is, and all of that. I don't know.
Because once you don't have expiry dates on things,
exactly,
anything repackaged could have been contaminated in some kind of way. You just don't have any guarantees. But at this point, people are thinking more of finance than guarantees.
Very true.
On quality or best before dates, as it were. But it has always happened like that. Smaller packaging has always sold better. Which is why the sachet milk, there was a particular company that started it some time back, and then every other company followed suit.
That's called shrinkflation. Yeah. With shrinkflation, you get smaller packages, and even the content sometimes begins to get smaller while your package remains the same. Yeah. But that's what people are running away from. Because of shrinkflation, they're like, I'd rather go get these uncanned milk at the better volume than all. But it, like you say, it's the economy and finance.
It is high risk. It is high risk.
It is though. What paper do you have?
I have The Guardian here with me, and it says here, federal government firms trade jobs as illegal expatriates take over economy. Now, there is an infographic there giving some numbers. Apparently, 13,829 foreigners were issued EQS permits, while 1,161 business permits were given to foreign companies to operate in Nigeria. And then there's a lot of other information there. It continues on page 6. Pro-Wike lawmakers re-strategize to oust Fubara, vow to reclaim rivers. Kano residents won't accept injustice, Deputy Governor warns. Serap sues INEC for failing to prosecute electoral offenders in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo. And NCDC confirms outbreak of dengue fever in Sokoto. Now, there are, of course, some photo stories there of just 2 of the numerous events that are happening, that happened over the weekend. I did want to touch a little bit on the River State issue. There were some videos that we saw last week of...
Fubara?
Yes, exactly. And a particular very important building was being demolished as well. You get my point?
Yes.
So that is... an ongoing story that we're looking out for in the news bulletins that will be coming up very soon. Let's see.
On now, let's do the Daily Trust, shall we? Inside the Daily Trust, big headline that meets you. Zamfara community under siege as bandits strike. Military vehicles, police outposts burnt. 3 persons killed, 16 abducted. State government to hire 4,200 security guards. At the top for the Daily Trust editorial, what does the World Bank want from Nigeria? And experts, unions differ over FG's plan to restructure TCN. Moving on now to the bottom of the page, Afenifere raises alarm over rising kidnappings in the southwest and ripples over appointments of 132 liaison officers for Kano LGAs. Customer loyalty, let's skip that. NMA gives of FG 45-day ultimatum to review doctors' salaries. State of security is one thing, especially when it comes to the end of the year here in Nigeria, as people make their journeys back home. Last week, there was a case of a businessman who was kidnapped, ransom collected, and still he was killed. Very unfortunate. We actually did have the defense minister, was it, who told that everything's safe now. We have police posted all across the nation and we shouldn't be worried about this. But it's still something that we're seeing persist, like we can see from these instances here. This is outside of the whole festivities. However, this is more banditry that's happening in the north. But it's very concerning that this is what we are beginning to see more often in the news now. I don't know if the structures that have been put in place are either lessening in their activities or whether they were even put in place at all. Big questions there, but find these stories inside of the Daily Trust newspaper. We've got one more paper.
Yes, we do. We have the Daily Sun newspaper, and a headline that was very, very popular last year around this same period is Naira scarcity. It says here, BDCs, SMEs, others grown as expert queries CBN. Crisis ending soon, says Apex Bank. It also says here, off-cycle election, Serap sues INEC over failure to prosecute electoral offenders in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo. And Adeyeye, why I didn't stop Olaoye from confessing, rather contesting Ogbomosho. Page 28 has more on that. It says here, convicted drug baron loses VGC mansion, SUV, as NDLEA arrests grandmother for drugs in Lagos. And it also says here, Tinubu hails appointment of Professor Uchegbu as London varsity president. And let's see, right at the bottom here, it says NLC dismisses notice of nationwide strike. Now, the issue of the Naira scarcity, we did talk about that last week. Yeah, we have. Now, we did also talk about the fact that it does seem like everyone has sort of made a move, made that shift to have some form of online mobile banking going on. So it's not as tense as it was this time last year.
I'll give credit to the banks this year because it's not as bad as what it was last year. But then again, the conditions from last year were actually worse than what they are. They were worse than what they are this year. But still, there's still questions. Why exactly is there a shortage for the Naira currently? There's still no explanation. I've always said, but there is. Have you tried getting 15,000 Naira from the POS terminals? They tell you I only have 10. Because they have to save what they have for other customers as well.
We are the cause of our own challenges. This is just me. This is just off top of my head. Some people are probably just keeping cash at home.
The point I was trying to make is, for every situation, the most important thing, especially if you are in a state of governance or leadership, is information. If people understand why things are the way they are, they would make adjustments based on that information. If you do not give them information, then they cannot make any single plan. We don't have an explanation for exactly why there's a shortage. Last year we did. It was, a shift attempted shift in the kind of
design.
The design. Yeah. But this year, why exactly? No one's saying anything. We don't know.
Okay.
So, yeah, right. I'm a bit frustrated myself.
So hopefully we get more answers to some of these questions sometime soon. But that's all we have time for on the headlines in the dailies. Indeed.